Canadian Football League making some big changes that includes moving the goalposts, literally.
Our game must continue to evolve and modernize for our players, our fans, and our partners.
The league is moving the goalposts from the front of the end zone to the back. This will allow more touchdowns, they say, in the middle, removing an obstruction for players and creating better sight lines for fans. The field is also shrinking from 110 yards to 100. The single point known as the Rouge staying, but only for tackles in the end zone. And team benches will be on opposite sides in every stadium. Right now, that's not the case. The league says the changes will create more consistency and lead to more touchdowns. So for more on this, more reaction, we bring in a former player and the radio analyst for your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Luc Mullinder. What is your initial reaction to these changes?
My initial reaction is they are great. I think they're a positive step in the right direction for the league. The things that make the Canadian football game great are the waggle, the width of the field, the fact that there's 3 downs, the fact that you have defensive and offensive linemen 1 yard off the ball. None of that changes. And man, I was a big fan, or I didn't like the fact that the goalposts were in front. I agree with the commissioner and the board of governors. Makes the game cleaner and it makes it easier to watch on TV now that you're not seeing these big yellow things in the way. And for offensive coordinators, it really opens it up. I think they spent a lot of time scheming the edges of the field in the red zone, and now they get to scheme the middle of the field as well.
They say that this will all result in more touchdowns. Was scoring a problem in the CFL? I don't think so.
No, scoring's not a problem in the CFL. The problem in the CFL is that we need to grow the game. Offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. So I think that the more touchdowns that you're able to, or potentially able to put on the field, the easier it is to sell the game. That's what we have to do. I understand people wanting to keep the game Canadian and not wanting to change some of the things that are fundamentally special about the game. And I don't see any of those changes been made in this instance. And we need to score more. We need to be able to market and grow this game, and I think that this is a good step in the right direction.
One thing that has been pointed out time and time again is that this was unanimously passed by the Board of Governors, but there are some players that are upset, including the man on your screen, Nathan Rourke, one of the superstars, saying they should have been consulted. Do you believe they should have been?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in a way they probably were. I think that, there was probably a conversation with the CFLPA. I think that maybe, I'm not sure that probably, I would assume that Nathan may regret some of the things that he said, because I saw his interview, and he essentially said that the league was special for, 3 major reasons, the reasons I mentioned, and those weren't the reasons those weren't the rule changes that took place. So I think that now that players have had a chance to reflect, especially as a quarterback, I would assume that Nathan likes the fact that the field in the red zone is a little bit more open. So again, you know what? When these things, when these fundamental shifts happen in any business, I think that it's impossible to consult everybody. I think that you need to make sure that you, the top level and the right organization or the right sort of arms of the organization are consulted. But you're never going to be able to get to everybody, and it's 2025, so you're never going to be able to please everybody either, Daryl.
Before I get you out of here, I want to know, Luther, your son, shout out to him. He is a young budding football star. The game has changed at the professional level. Is this likely to trickle down? And if that's the case, is that a good thing?
You know what? I'm not sure if it trickles down. I think that in the Canadian, I think in Canadian football specifically, we've really got to focus in on some of the other pieces like coaching and refereeing. I think that, I would still see Canadian high school and youth sport. I don't think that a change in the end zone is needed for them. Again, I think that I'd love to see more resources put into coaching and some equipment, but more importantly, also the refereeing. So again, do you have to change the field of play in high school or youth sport? Absolutely not. I don't think so. Those players, you got to remember, Daryl, only 1% of college athletes are ever going to get into the CFL or the NFL anyways, right? So I don't think that you need to make fundamental shifts there.
Let's change the game dramatically. Luc Mullinder, thank you so much for your insight. I appreciate it.